Steam and therefore the Steam Deck has been updated once again. But word has it the Legion Go 2 will be more performant than the Steam Deck, but the big question is, can you afford to find out? Probably not. But if you like this video or any other video I've made, please like, subscribe, and share with all of your friends. And in the meantime, why don't you check out Off the Console? It's a brand new podcast created by me, Gardner Bryant, and Games Revealed, with guest stars occasionally. Check it out. Valve has issued an update for the Steam client, and there are a lot of changes. The vast majority of these entries are in fact bug fixes, but some of these also add controller support for other third-party controllers and fixes as well, and a brand new feature for the Legion Go S. The ability to customize the joystick LED, which is pretty cool, I guess. If you have a handheld that supports RGB around the thumbsticks, which is quite a few of them actually, then Steam may be able to support them if they have proper support, like with the Legion Go S. But these are just Steam client updates. What about SteamOS? Well, as you would have it, SteamOS got an update in the beta branch a couple of days ago. And yes, most of these are also bug fixes as well, but one of the biggest changes here has to do with the original Legion Go. Improved support for controllers when in FPS mode, which is the little mouse mode the Legion Go has. Which is great, honestly. I mean, that combined with SteamOS's Steam input means you can play more games more effectively and not rely on Legion space. For those who may not know, the original Legion Go was Lenovo's first foray into the world of PC handhelds. And when it originally released, it was a fairly unique beast, with two totally detachable controllers, with one of them being able to be used as a mouse, a sort of vertical mouse, so to speak. And yes, this predates the Switch 2, though the Switch 2 lets you use both Joy-Cons as a mouse for like dual mouse games, which is something the Legion Go 2 still can't do. Now, I wouldn't say the original Legion Go was necessarily affordable. I believe MSRP started at $600 and could go all the way up to $700. But hey, I mean, that was a few years ago. But of course, Lenovo's also released a handheld since then as well. The Legion Go S in two different flavors, SteamOS and Windows. And to be honest, there were concerns about the Legion Go S's pricing as well, especially the Windows variant. But nothing could have prepared us for the Legion Go Gen 2. The Legion Go Gen 2 is an iterative update, and it looks to have basically everything I could have ever wanted in a device. Bigger battery, OLED, variable refresh rate. But all of these truly impressive upgrades, it all comes at a price. It also comes in two different SKUs. One such SKU is the regular Z2, and the other one is the more desirable Z2 Extreme. Unfortunately, I can't seem to find any information on the Z2's performance. But from what I can gather, the Z2 Extreme is faster than the Z1 Extreme. Yes, it's worth mentioning that the Z2 Extreme is more efficient, and it runs games at lower wattages at higher frame rates than the Z1 Extreme at those same low wattages. But at the high end, at the maximum wattage, the differences aren't really that impressive. But at the end of the day, the final drivers should make a huge difference, and it'll be make or break. So until we start seeing people do performance tests with the final drivers, there are no true performance tests that are accurate. But to be honest, none of this really matters if you're not willing to fork over the cash. And let me tell you, I'm not entirely sure I'm willing to do so. To be honest, the Z2 version is completely out of the question. I would never buy it, period. At a starting price of $1,099, the Z2 version is basically a non-starter, whereas the version with the Z2 Extreme will be $1,349. Some wonder, have we truly lost the plot? And to be honest, it's always been kind of lost, especially with the PC handheld market. Like, if you look at the PC handhelds before the Steam Deck, those were always really expensive and teetering close to $1,000. And then the Steam Deck comes out at $400, and it's also the cheapest and most powerful handheld at the time. And then we see a bunch of handhelds still releasing that are far more expensive than the Steam Deck. But then Asus releases a device that is faster than the Steam Deck. Yes, it's more expensive, but it's not super expensive. And then Lenovo follows suit, but kind of more expensive due to its unique features. But then for their sequels, both Lenovo and Asus raise the price substantially. Now, I can see why the prices have been increased. There are a number of external factors, but I can't imagine the Legion Go Gen 2 almost doubling in price. I can imagine the increasing prices has a lot to do with the tariffs that are happening in the US, but these prices have also been raised in other countries as well. Now for the interesting question. Did tariffs kill the Legion Go Gen 2? I don't know how much of the price has been affected by tariffs. I'm sure it would be cheaper. But would it be under $1,000? Would the Z2 Extreme version be under $1,000? Or would it be like $100 cheaper? I don't know. Also worth mentioning is that Lenovo did create a SteamOS version of the Legion Go S, whereas they're not doing so for the Gen 2 as of right now. One has to wonder, how come Lenovo isn't doing this? But at the same time though, would it even matter? It would probably still be fairly expensive, even if it did run SteamOS. I don't know, man. The PC handheld market has completely gone off the rails. And honestly, this is part of why it's hard to recommend PC handhelds that aren't the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck isn't cheap by any means, but it's the cheapest PC handheld and it's giving you the most bang per buck. Sure, the other devices, especially with the Z1 Extreme, are more powerful, but the Steam Deck is just such an easy recommendation and it truly is the baseline. Whereas the others, not so much. And of course, let's talk about Silksong, 2025's most anticipated indie game. And of course, the internet is complaining about difficulty. But here's the thing though, Hollow Knight Silksong is fairly forgiving. To be honest, you can make quite a few mistakes as long as you don't make all of these mistakes in a row. Like, you can take plenty of hits as long as you don't get hit 5 times in a row without healing. Like, as long as you don't make too many mistakes in a row, the game's kind of forgiving. Of course, there are some aspects of the game people are complaining about. First and foremost, that area in Hunter's March where you have to bounce off of like the cherries or pot peppers or tomatoes or whatever they're supposed to be. You know, the red little fruit things that you bounce off of. People can't do that, but like, I've had no trouble. And of course, people are complaining about 2 different bosses, Moorwing and Sister Splinter. And quite frankly, I beat them before they were nerfed, and honestly, they weren't that bad. Now I get it, you have to appease your gamers, but at the same time though, you could just let them suffer. They'll learn, they'll get over it. They always do. And on that topic, people have been making easy mode mods on PC for Silksong, and let me tell you, you're free to do whatever you want, but if you brag about beating Silksong but you used a mod that removes the double damage from the game, then like, come on dude. Did we not learn from the Sekiro incident where some game journalist wrote an article about cheating on Sekiro, where he used a mod that reduced the game's speed by like half, and then he beat the final boss with it, and then bragged about beating the final boss with it? No, you didn't beat the final boss, you beat a modified version of the final boss that was about half as fast. Like, no, you didn't beat Sekiro. I beat Sekiro. We did not do the same thing. Like, I have a daytime job too, and adult responsibilities too, so I have a lot less time to play video games than one might expect. But at the same time though, I have no difficulty playing difficult games like Silksong. Now, maybe you should just learn how to get better at the game, recognize patterns, or maybe just recognize the game is too difficult for you and just quit while you're ahead. Truth be told, there's no shame in quitting a game that's too hard for you. Alright? Just don't cheat, okay? If you like this video, please press the like button and check out our other videos, and if you like those other videos as well, be sure to press the subscribe button and share the good gospel of high-tech lowlife with your friends. Furthermore, we have a community Discord for enlightened individuals such as you. And if you wish to further support high-tech lowlife, be sure to check out our Patreon page. Links in the description.